All right, we've got a little bit of rain forecast. Not a forecast, it's already happening. Forecast is a prediction. So hopefully it's not too loud in the camera. In any case, today I wanted to talk about something nefarious, something that I think people get hooked on. I like to talk a lot about vices and comforts and pleasures that people get hooked on that aren't so obvious. It's not your traditional, like, I'm addicted to jerking it or overeating or like sleeping in my bed till it's 1 p.m. But I think some of the more hidden ones is where people can get real stuck. They can get into some real trouble. And I thought about this. Because I on YouTube I got this ad. It's probably like fake AI nonsense if I had to take a guess, but of like this robot puppy. And the reason I think it's AI is because or technology is just advanced to that point, and I've just officially entered my 30s gracefully, just thinking like, wow, that can't be real. Technology, it's like magic. It's like a robot puppy, so the whole concept is that it moves realistically, stays a puppy forever, right? Never grows up, despite having the most soulless eyes I've ever seen in my life. I think I've seen more soul in a plush toy, but I thought about it for a little bit, and it was kind of like, I guess I get it, why people would get a robot puppy, but it almost kind of ruins the point, because eventually part of what, makes owning a dog so rewarding is that you get to see it grow. You get to see it get older. The memories of when it was a puppy become that much more sweet and endearing, and you get to see this animal, you love and care for it. Like you get to see its journey as it grows along. And owning a pet really also teaches you just as much about yourself, really, as it does, for the animal. So when you get to progress with your dog up until the day where it, will eventually, of course, be gone, but you get to kind of take those lessons with you. You get to take those memories with you. You get to just look back on videos and memories of when they were a puppy, and it's a different experience, I think, than of course, a human. But it's almost like kind of the point of owning a dog is the lessons you'd learn from it and the memories you get to keep. So seeing this robot dog where it just stays like that forever until it's eventually discarded or it breaks, it was almost like a little bit of it felt kind of like a little bit of just like SpongeBob, where it's like future. And I sat there swivered, thinking this is weird. This is very strange. And I think it appeals to a certain crowd of people where to them, they don't want things to change. They wish to stay in the past, or at the very least they feel like the past is where it's always at. There's a certain thing about nostalgia though, where the problem is that it's not real. Like the things that you get nostalgic for, of course, heck yeah, reminisce, I'm definitely not hating on anyone that's reminiscing. And, you bond over stories from the past with other people. You get to make yourself happy with the good times, and you get to reflect on the not so good times. But it's not entirely accurate. There's a reason why when you go to court, witness testimony is not considered a reliable piece of evidence, because people's memories are never accurate. Cue the commenters and down below where they're like, I've been diagnosed with a photographic memory and I recall every single event. I remember coming out of my mom's navel and blah, 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 blah. Cool. But I think for most people, your memory of past events is what you're nostalgic for, and not so much the event itself. So not only are you not remembering it accurately, you're applying, I suppose, some kind of lens to it. And then that's what's giving you the nice emotions. When it becomes something that you want to visit so bad, and it interferes with so much of the present day that's how badly you want to go back to it, that's when it starts becoming this problem, in the sense of you're not happy with living in the moment. You're not happy with your current present situation. And so now you have all these narratives, right? This nostalgia in your head about old times and, and old memories that not only are they not entirely accurate, you've colored them with your vision, but now it's become something that's interfering with the quality of life now. Like, you should be designing, or at the very least working towards your life to be just as kick-ass as whatever nostalgic feeling you're getting in the present moment. I've encountered some sad situations, where, growing up, like, it's cute. You get to hear, like, okay, older generation, they talk about, like, oh, like the jobs and stuff growing up, and I grew up in a different country, and I remember this person and this person, and I remember my mailing route, and I remember, like, all these, like, wonderful things, and it's awesome to hear as a kid, or at the very least, it's awesome to hear at first. I was a kid when I was hearing these stories, and it's a great experience, cool, that's awesome. And then eventually it's like, all right, like 30 years have gone by, and now I'm still hearing the same stories. Like, what's kind of going on with the present, you see people that get so addicted to nostalgia, they get so hooked on the past and how things were, that they can't see. I mean, maybe they can, and they just choose to be ignorant of it, but they can't see how much they've wrecked the present, and it becomes just is painful and not a little bit, but pretty sad to watch someone be so just teary-eyed about the past, like you see it wash over their face, like this happiness that maybe you don't quite see in the day-to-day, but when it does come to the day-to-day, it's like it turns off. There's nothing. It's just kind of getting through the day type of energy. Nostalgia is one of those things that, like any vice, any comfort, any pleasure, they may not inherently be wrong, right? Like, you have someone that, like, has a beer after work once or twice a week, or however frequent for them, but it doesn't get in the way of anything, right? It's not. You could take away the beer for like a week or two, and they'll be chilling. Beer inherently is not a problem, but when it does become a problem is when it starts to, like, become something you depend on as a source of, like, I just need this to get through XYZ. I don't want to think about my current present situation and my environment. For 99% of people, whatever it is that's in their environment, everything they have up to this point, it's a direct net result of their actions, of their life up to that point. But in this life, I think the responsibility to fix ourselves falls on the self. I heard once from, I think it was like Sadhguru or something. I'm probably butchering that, but one phrase that he said once that really stuck with me is that everyone gets so obsessed with heaven. Like, we get obsessed with like making sure everything is like squeaky clean so that I can get into heaven, which is funny because getting into heaven is like, it's like a future worry. That's not a past worry like nostalgia is, but they get so wrapped up in making sure everything's A-okay and A+ here so that going to heaven is awesome. And then he just kind of busts out like, how do you know you're not in heaven right now, this instant, making a mess out of things? Ultimately, you don't want to be dependent on things in the past. You don't want to be dependent on, prepping for a future that is like so far flung. Have goals, have deadlines, have things to strive for, but don't live like way up in the future, and don't also live trapped in the past and obsessing over like just like your nostalgia of things, because it's not accurate and it's not doing anything to fix your current reality in the present situation, which for, again, 99% of people, you are in complete capacity to make the present day, this instant, awesome as hell. You can make your everyday fantastic. Granted, if you're in a bit of a hole, or maybe you're starting, like, everyone's on their own journey, so you could be starting from like a not so great place. It's fair. I've had a few of those, a few treks up Mount Everest. While the best time to have started, to fix whatever it is that you're dealing with was, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago, the second best time is to start today. Like if you've ever been on like a jog or like just like a run, no one wants to do the run. Most people don't want to do the run. But, once you have on your running shoes, and you're essentially out the door, you've already cleared the most difficult part. Just starting and not thinking too hard about it is ultimately what's key. And so similar to that, like living in the present, it just comes down to just start enjoying the present. Robot dogs from Temu, of all things, to trigger that conversation. But anywho, starting to rain. This will be it for this Journal of Quarters, because I'd like to get home at an hour where it's not completely pitch black and raining. So, catch you guys in the next one. Please don't order AI robot dogs. I gotta look into that. Maybe it really is AI, and just like I got tricked by like CGI for all I know. Well, a very scary good evening to you.